Hello and welcome to another Tuesday Talk with Ruby Reese. My name is Killian. I'm co-founder at Ruby Reese and I will also be your host. Today we're going to be talking about a really exciting topic and with a really great guest as well. We'll be talking all about Beyond Sit and Paw. And I think with the title we're going to have some people listening in that have maybe a brand new dog, a new addition to the family, be that an adopted older dog or a little puppy. And I think it's a good time to, first of all, welcome you. And if you're a first time listener, we bring out usually a dog topic, but we bring out a podcast every single Tuesday, and we welcome you to follow or subscribe to our podcast wherever you're listening to it. And we also encourage you to explore your local dog network and build up that network of professionals that can really help you out when you've got those questions, when you've got those maybe little niggles that could potentially turn into a problem. And we encourage you to reach out to those professionals when it's a small issue or a smaller issue, and get that sorted or get things in check nice and early before it turns into a problem that takes more time and effort to resolve. So this week we're talking to a brilliant guest, and that is Suzy White from the Dogcentre Kilkenny. And without further ado, I invite you now to listen into the chat that I had with Suzy. Suzy, thank you so much for coming on and joining me on the podcast. How are you doing?
I'm good. Killian, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Would you do us the pleasure of introducing yourself briefly?
Of course. So my name is Suzy White. I'm here in Kilkenny. I run the Dogcentre. I have done the last 13 years. I'm a dog behaviour consultant with the IAABC, and I also hold qualifications with the British College of Canine Studies in dog training and behaviour. And I'm one part of Snouting About. So I run Snouting About Kilkenny and Southie.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And you picked a really exciting topic. I nearly call it a cop-out at this stage among you trainers and behaviours, because puppies, everybody loves chatting about puppies. But today we want to talk a little bit further on training puppies beyond sit and paw, and particularly inside your own home. So I suppose, firstly, just to frame why we're even sitting here, why does it make sense to train our dogs inside our own home?
So everyone kind of concentrates on the house training outside or the leash skills to stop pulling behaviours or behaviours outside. But of course, it all starts at home, and it all starts on how to teach our puppies the skills they need, the coping skills with new things, new stimulus, establishing that routine. It's also really important to highlight that training is communication, and we're communicating with dogs their whole lives. So it does start during that critical developmental period with our puppies from the age we take them home, whatever that age may be.
Brilliant. And you mentioned some essential skills. So I suppose, what essential skills does a puppy need right from the beginning beyond your usual commands like sit and paw?
Well, sit and paw are brilliant little starters for communications, and of course, they can be thought of as just tricks and what our pups can do, almost like parlour games. But of course, everything has a function to it. And it's establishing that bond, that relationship, that responsiveness to cues from us, and establishing us as the kind of primary caregivers. But of course, there's skills that our puppies have to learn from the very time they set foot in our homes. The house training and the routine. And of course, then just learning how to wear their walking equipment, even if they're not stepping outside the house just yet. There's some skills around handling and how to even build up that responsiveness to our puppies in and outside the home. Establishing where the puppy will be the time that they'll be spending where they'll be spending their most time in the house, whether that's in their pen or in their crate. And this is all training. This doesn't just happen.
Yeah, Exactly. And I suppose, yeah, there's the essential skills and then there's tricks. There's potentially great value to get from tricks as well, isn't there? Even like when I think back to when Ruby was a puppy, we learned a lot about her reward systems because, we realized, okay, these things, particularly like sit, she's not going to love it. She's never going to love it because she's a higher energy dog. She wants to run in and do things like twist around or jump up for something. Like that's just her way of being. So I guess you can learn like a lot about your relationship and how to communicate with your dog as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then what are exactly their reward systems? What are the things that your dogs like to do? So sit is a great foundation for stopping jumping up behaviours, which can be something that can be a problem when your dog, particularly for bigger breeds, but just for anyone that has guests or children in the home, it's really important that pups don't learn that jumping up accesses that reinforcement, that actually the best thing they can do is plant their bum down or at least have like all four paws on the ground. And it helps establish that impulse control, not kind of a term that we like to use, but it does teach pups those essential kind of life skills of, I don't jump up for attention. The best rewards come with actually staying down on the ground and kind of being patient around food and resources and attention and we humans. So everything has a function. Sit can also be a great thing to use outside the house to test your puppy and see what they're like with their threshold. Are you still listening to me? Are you still communicating with me? Can you do a sit? You can. You're still good. So yeah, everything has a foundation and a function to it. They're all really important little life skills to teach our young dogs.
And talking all about, staying still and calming down and everything, I suppose a lot of us jump to the ideas in and around grooming and nail trimming and the rest of it. So is this something that could also be trained very, very early on with puppies?
Absolutely. Even if nail trimming or even around grooming, even if this isn't something that you have to pay attention to now, they're great things to do, even in little 5-minute sessions, just to practice your puppy getting used to the feel of a brush or you having something in your hand, being close to them. Sometimes when we wait until our pups actually need a groom, now they're kind of going, this is a weird tool I've never seen before, smelled before. It's all very unusual to me now. And that's the time where we actually need them to sit still and actually get the brush done because they need it. Setting up a grooming session, or even like that, producing the nail clippers around their pup and just touching them off their claws, rewarding them for it, sets them up with not only a bond building session with you, you're spending time with your puppy, you're learning about their arousal and on what way they kind of react to these new stimulus, but they're also building confidence around it and a positive association. As I always say, learn the skills you need when you don't need them, so that they are learned for when you do need them.
This is it. And I think a lot of people say, in and around grooming dogs in particular, they've this idea that all dogs hate being groomed and hate going for a bath and things like that. And they run away when the brush comes out. We got these really cool gloves for Ruby, being a short-haired dog, a little Frenchie. So there's these kind of little nubs on it, and we use our conditioning spray and whatever. So when the spray and the gloves come out, Ruby's like, this is massage time. This is great. This is going to be best time ever. So like you say, it's all about reframing it and kind of looking at it in a different way. And you mentioned as well about, kind of getting them ready for things. I suppose similarly to a grooming table, it might be worthwhile getting them used to standing up kind of on a higher table for, say, future vet visits or a physio visit or whatever, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And these are things that you can do. Again, even just building up your puppy's confidence. You don't have to go and buy these things. Even getting in and out of the back door, that's usually a step, or it can be a step in the garden or something. Luring your puppy up and down a step, and then and by luring, I just mean holding a treat to their nose and kind of luring them up with their nose, and then giving them a lot of praise and allowing them to get down on their own. And if they don't want to do it the first time, giving them that choice and control over it, and they might have a go at it the next time. It's so simple. But again, they are really important skills for your pup to learn, that actually it's okay to step up onto things, and it's actually okay to be at a slightly different kind of height than I was. Because remember, our puppies are usually the same height all along. So sometimes when they get picked up in a vet's office or in a grooming studio, suddenly this is all new and very unusual to them. So yeah, so even just learning how to get up and down things, it can be a confidence booster. It also strengthens some muscles in a very kind of simple way. And this is all important for growth and development for puppies of all kinds of breeds. And they learn to respond to you, that you're not forcing them into something that's actually positive to respond to do something that you're asking them to do, and it's been nothing but fun and positive for them. So it sets you up for those more important times when they do actually have to step up on something or get up onto a table later on.
And I think most puppies love learning something new as well. They're like, "Oh, this is great!" There's treats involved, there's toys involved.
Yep,
So
sure.
it can be fun. So talking about fun and practical things you can be doing with your dog, do you have any fun tricks that we can practice with our little puppies in their first couple of weeks at home?
Oh my God, there is so many. One that's really simple and one that any puppy can kind of grasp without even needing a lot of thinking to it is the hand target touch game. This is where you can give your puppy your palm out facing to them, and most puppies will investigate it with their nose, by reaching out with their nose and having a little touch hand target. As soon as they touch their nose off your hand, you respond with a hit and deliver a treat from the other hand. Touch is a brilliant game, particularly for puppies that might be a little bit mouthy or nippy, depending on their breed or their age, or if they're going through a teething period, which most puppies will be. It's also great for puppies to establish communication cues and cues around handling and feeling really comfortable about it. If up until then all hands coming towards them has been a little bit unnerving, where it's hands coming over their head and they're kind of responding with a nip or a bite, a hand target game gives a puppy agency around hands, and they learn that handling from humans is actually completely at their own pace and choice. Plus, it's fun. Kids can get involved, adults can get involved. You don't need a lot of space or equipment to do it. You can start off just feeding them pieces of their dinner, asking them for a touch. And again, building up that engagement and that responsiveness. Other games that you can get into, and again, can work for all kinds of ages, would be nose work game. Find a game where you're tossing food in front of them. Again, a great bond building session to do with children in the family, because there's not a lot of hands-on interactions that you have to monitor and kind of make sure that puppy and children are safe. This is where you can ask children to hide pieces of puppy's food around the garden or even just around a room. And you can hold puppy on leash as they do this, and then allow the kids to kind of lead puppy around. But you can lead the puppy around by their leash, but allow the kids to kind of point out all the areas that they've hid the puppy's food and the puppy's using their nose. Remembering dogs, and especially puppies, are going to investigate the entire world through their olfactory system, through their nose. Their olfactory system completely dominates their whole brain. It's how they explore the world. It's how they build interactions. And getting them developing that sense really early and teaching them to investigate things and explore it in a way that they understand is a great confidence builder and a great way to build that bond between young members of the family and our puppy. And it's a real surefire game. Teaching our puppies to sniff and explore with their nose will be something that we can bring outside the house, but it's also a great way to just build up that relationship, as I said, but also provide some mental stimulation and feeding them in a really enriching way, in a way that's functional for them.
Yeah, no, that is brilliant. And then after all that fun and games has happened, you might want to bring them to a crate maybe, or a playpen to have some downtime. How do we go about making the crate a really, really positive experience for them?
Yeah, so this can be a tricky one, because a lot of even my clients with new puppies will struggle with this one. Crates are great. They're not suitable to every puppy. And that's absolutely okay. Sometimes pens are better, and this can be a pen that you can get them on Amazon. Or this is just something that you can kind of spread open and kind of put in a corner, or even just a stairgate. But the whole point of whatever one you choose is that there's boundaries in the house, and that you can limit puppies exploring around the house, which is great for house training, and also just making sure they're not getting into things that they shouldn't. And allowing your puppy to build a positive association with whatever one you choose is a really important thing to do. We don't just put them into the crate, close the door and walk away. The reason we don't do it is because that confined space and then not having access to you is obviously going to be very stressful for our puppies. They're going to suddenly go from being able to have access to you at all times, following you around the house, and then suddenly they're just watching you behind a closed door and not going to be able to access you. As soon as they cry or stress, suddenly the crate becomes a place of negative connotations. They're not going to have the best association with it. The best way there's a whole different ways that we can build up positive associations and start crate training or pen training. But the best one to do is actually just spend time with the door open. make it a really cozy place to have a nice, like, fluffy bed or a nice cozy bed inside. Have their treats, even if it's just their dinner. Start dropping food on the bed, sitting with your puppy, and every time they go in and out, even if they don't go in straight away, praise it with well done and kind of reinforce with more food. So getting a chance to kind of build that positive association in a way, again, it's completely at your puppy's own pace. They have choice and control. It's not somewhere that suddenly now they're alone and that they're already separated from their mum and litter mates and now they're alone again. It's actually just a place that they go in and lovely stuff happens to them. Go at your puppy's own pace. Some dogs, or even slightly older puppies, like rescue dogs that are coming into the house, may have experienced a negative association with a crate before. And you might have to start by stripping it back a little bit, which is just, can you come into the room where the crate is, and without even going near the crate, can you just take some food, and every time puppy looks over at the crate, pair it with a marker and reinforce more food, and already start to build those associations and a new emotional response that this thing's actually really cool. I can go in and out of this thing and it's actually all right. Or even just look at it and interact with it in a way that makes sense to me and makes me feel safe and comfortable. That's actually really good. Good things happen to me here. And then you can start providing chews, stuffed Kongs, things that puppies need in their day anyway, and things that they're going to enjoy playing with or interacting with anyway. And if they can just go into their crate and have a chew or a Kong in there, they're starting to associate being in the crate with something really positive. There's a lovely program by Dr. Karen Overall called the Relaxation Protocol. And this is fun little games that you can do for really short time periods every day with your pup. Just practice going in and out of their bed and asking them into relaxed positions like a sit or a lie down, and practice moving away and then slowly closing over the crate door, even if it's just as simple as close over and open straight away, and then carry on feeding the bed and then building on it from here. Can you close over the crate door for 1 to 2 seconds and then opening it and building it up? You're kind of building up that association, that ability to stay in a crate. Again, all at the puppy's own pace, but they're feeling safe and secure at every step of it.
And actually, I like these strategies as well, these kind of come down strategies almost, because I made the mistake of jumping from our topic, talking about high energy play and having great fun, and then straight away to settling. And I think we as human adults kind of do that. We quickly decide, okay, that game is over. And one thing that I know that Ruby really appreciates is kind of like this ending sequence to Playtime. She we've kind of worked it into the way we play, is that there's always belly rubs at the end of kind of high energy chase or whatever, so she so we can instigate it because we can tell her, oh, it's time for belly rubs now, and she knows, oh, okay, grand, this is kind of the ending part of play. But she can also lie down into that usual kind of, I suppose, submissive pose of belly up and, okay, I'm ready to stop playing now. It's getting too much for me, or there's been too much chase. Do you recommend this for Playtime as well, or is this something we see in the research?
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really, really good. What I love most about that is, even like, we're all about the dog-human relationship and having the best possible dog-human relationship with the species that we've brought into our homes. Might not fully understand all the time, but want the best kind of relationship with them. And what you've done with Ruby is you've established a way of where you're both kind of saying, oh yeah, play is finished now, and I feel really good about it, and you feel really good about it, and it hasn't just stopped and suddenly been, that was kind of crap, it's over now. It's something also pleasurable to kind of wind down out of high activity play maybe, or excitement, and that's such an important part as well. We have to understand that our puppies don't have that self-control. We want them to have it, but they rely on us to teach them how to do that. We don't want high activity play all the time. Anything that activates their stress systems, and this can be things that we might not even think about. If every time the phone rings or the doorbell goes, we all go, oh my god, quick, someone get it. Puppy's going to learn, oh my god, the doorbell goes, and a lot of energy happens, or it's followed with a lot of excitement. And these are things that we mightn't even think about until it's an issue later on. So teaching our puppies how to, yes, like, have high arousal play, high activity play, and then learning that, okay, the stress system has been activated, but now you can actually decompress out of it with a find it game, or like that belly rubs, or like that crate training session after their needs have been met. So they've had that play session. Now it's time to wind down with something that's actually quite calming and settling, and something that helps shut off that high energy stress system. It's a great thing that they can take into all different parts of their daily routine, just their life going forward.
Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing that recall could be something that you can train quite a bit as well at home, right?
Absolutely. It all starts in the garden or at home in a low distraction environment. So with recall, the thing that I see sometimes people can fall down with is waiting until the dog is in somewhere wide open in a dog park or in a private hire field or something like that, somewhere safe to let them off. And then they don't really practice their name or any kind of recall command, like come here or whatever your recall command is, practicing it only when it's time to go home. So
Mm.
puppies learn, okay, I hear this sound and it just means leash goes back on and it's time to go away. So next time I might avoid the leash or avoid that handling. The best thing to do is, and you can bring this into everything else, is make recall or their recall command something amazing for them. So you can call them their recall command, come here. I tend to recommend not to use just their name because their name is used in all sorts of different ways in all different contexts by different people throughout the day. So using one recall command or a recall sound if you want, whatever that sound may be, and then producing something amazing like a treat scatter or even a tug rope that you can like suddenly drag on the ground and get them really enticed to come over. And they've learned that means that sound that you've made or that cue means something amazing happens. They come over to you and it's been great. And then you can send them away again. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that you come over to me and then nothing happens. Particularly for herding breeds like our shepherds or our collies, or even our gun dogs like pointers. And these are traits that we're going to see in behaviours, even as young as the puppy that you've just brought home as 8 weeks or 9 weeks. We're going to see behaviour traits according to their breed. So sometimes if they've learned that when you call them, they just go back on leash or, fun kind of stops, they're going to get quite frustrated with it. So the best thing to do would be do a treat scatter and then get someone else in the family to call them and then they do a treat scatter. So they've learned that if they can come flying back over to the next person, something fun has also happened. And that recall command means coming up to someone, but something amazing has happened to them. Something really rewarding has happened and it becomes reinforcing to them. Or you can send them away again. So by sending them away, I just mean treat scatter and then, okay, go on. Or, okay, and like a release cue and they go back to what they were doing. What I will say is try to avoid using the recall command to mean something like a bath or a nail clipping, or using their recall command to do something that mightn't be as fun to puppy. So if they're out in the garden having a whale of a time and then we call them in with their recall command, they might go, oh, it just meant coming inside and that would have been great.
Mm-hmm.
Use a different command in these moments. That's where you can just use their name or just walk over to them and click them on leash or carry them inside or however you are actually getting them inside. But try to avoid using their recall command. Their recall command should be used sparingly. The best recall commands, as we said, are ones that don't tend to really need to be used a lot. That dog just learned that it's just amazing to follow you and interact with you and come after you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it should always mean something great. Try to avoid it when your puppy is outside sniffing, investigating something, or like that if it means something not so nice like nail clip, and then build on that.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about bringing all these positive experiences together, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, which goes back to, which is a lovely 360 circle. It comes back to our, you can use find it, or you can use hand target games.
Mm-hmm.
In our recall commands, they're the foundations for everything else. As I said, even checking cue. You mentioned grooming, and grooming is so important. But if we do kind of introduce them to nail clippers, ask them for a hand target touch game, if they're still doing that, they're still feeling safe and secure and happy with what's going on. If they can't or they're hesitant doing it, we're kind of seeing our puppy come away from that kind of, I'm happy and comfortable, I'm doing the cues that I know. Instead, they're kind of going, I'm a little bit close to my stress threshold, not feeling totally good about this. I'm a little bit slow to react. And we know to take a break then and kind of pick up then in another little while. So it's all communication, as we say. It's all important skills for the everyday.
And now this question is going to be a difficult one because it's getting a dog to do something they don't want to do. What's the best way to teach a puppy to drop something that they shouldn't have in their mouth?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So this is the thing, it doesn't necessarily have to mean I'm coming to get something and it's going to be negative for you. And the best thing we can do, and it can be a little bit counteractive for us humans, is if they have something they shouldn't, you should actually kind of reward them for it, which is kind of like, what have you got? Oh my God, I'm going to reward you by dropping something else just as high value. If they picked up a hairbrush they shouldn't have, produce a chew or their toy and make that toy come alive by waving it in front of them and go, oh my God, what did you get? So this is really, really good that you have this thing. And you're going to see the puppy released, and now kind of this thing isn't moving, it's not been great, and go for the thing that you're offering them, which is something that they can have, but something that's moving, and it's like a tug toy waving in front of them, and then really give them a strong good job, well done, and then reach for that item and put it away if they shouldn't have had the coveted stolen item. And the number one thing that we can kind of make a mistake about with these things is if they have something like a shoe or something that they shouldn't have, immediately interacting with to a puppy, kind of saying no, and kind of coming after them, and becomes a chase game. So puppy can then learn that when they pick up an item that they can have, like a toy, nothing happens. No one's reacting. It's not getting that desired outcome that they were looking for. They're bored and they picked it up and nothing has happened. If they grab a shoe or something that they shouldn't have off the counter, the whole family comes alive and it's suddenly a chase game. You have to kind of look at what associations our puppy is building and what it looks like from their point of view. So if they pick up something they shouldn't have and you swap it for something that they can have, well, that becomes the more exciting thing. Puppies are going to be much happier to give up something. In a time of no, you shouldn't do that, you've given them a yes. Mm-hmm. So what I always say to my clients is, for every no, give them 3 yeses. If they're ragging on a corner of the couch, that's obviously a no. And even a leave it or a drop it, if it's not established yet, because we are talking about puppies, the best thing there is to actually give them a yes. Here's a tug toy in front of you. You can absolutely have this. Oh my God, isn't it so exciting moving in front of you? So as soon as they stop chewing the couch, give them a good job. When they go for the item you're offering, good time, good job. When they interact in the play that you're offering them, even if it's just a couple of seconds of tug toy or a ball bounced in front of them or a chew you've tossed, in front of their eye line, give them their yes, well done, you did it. Suddenly puppies learned that the couch was nothing. It was actually kind of boring. Nothing was happening there. But you gave me play that was more appropriate to me. It was a more appropriate outlet. But it felt amazing to go for that one.
Yeah.
You'll see puppy choose those outlets instead of the couch corner next time. If we responded with, no, drop it, leave it, oh my God, Fido, absolutely not, they're going to go, oh my God, it feels amazing, it's chewable, and it's coming with your attention. I'm going to go for this the next time. It becomes a reinforced behaviour.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned some furniture, and I know the furniture is kind of a topic that comes up an awful lot when we're talking about puppies and how we want to live with our dogs in the future. What tips do you have for teaching a puppy not to jump up on furniture if that's out of bounds?
Yeah, so again, sometimes the problem here can be when we brought a new puppy home, we want the cuddles and we want to pick them up and we want them close to us and to sit on the couch. But then they might have their teething issues or their toileting issues, and so then we don't want them on the furniture anymore. So decide, and there is no right or wrong answer. It's absolutely okay to not want your dogs on the couch, and it's absolutely okay to have your dogs on the couch. I kind of have both going on in my house. Ripley hates too much heat, so she won't get on the couch. But of course, the lurchers will absolutely take over the couch, and I've had to buy a bigger one recently. Just a bit of thought on it. But so there is no yes or no answer to this unless it actually becomes a problem. If we see resource guarding or something, but that's where you contact a certified trainer. So to get our puppies used to getting up and down on the couch, we can teach an off cue. And again, practice this when you don't need it so that you have it when you do. So this is where what we said earlier on about luring puppy up onto stable surfaces and teaching them kind of balance games and confidence boosters, even if it's just steps in and out of the house or whatever. This is where you can ask them onto the couch and reward them for it. They've done something that you've asked them to do. And then get down and ask them off and feed the floor. So reinforce with a couple of treats on the floor. Mm-hmm. And then when puppy gets off to go get the treats, respond with a big yes, well done, good job. And then you can practice that. Off gets one treat and not a lot of praise. On gets one treat, not a lot of praise. Off comes with a high level of reinforcement. So you can kind of establish that yes, they can get up when you want them up, and then practice a solid off cue. If you don't want them on the couch at all, then it's just really good to practice that boundaries. When you first bring puppy home, make sure that they do have a bed area or fuzzy vet bed or something that is on the floor to entice them over. And this is where you can practice settle in the evenings where puppy's on the bed and you reinforce the bed with treats or even just a couple of their dinners. Or when you're having your own settle time in the evening, make sure that there's a Kong or a chew or something for puppy to practice being settled on their bed on the floor, and that it's still been really positive for them. If they do get up, just reinforce that bed area again and just practice that and repeat it a couple of times. And if that's not something that you want to do every single evening, this is where our crates or our pens or our stair gates come into it. But always make sure that it's functional for our puppies. We don't want them just staying on the floor. Otherwise, we're going to have a dog that constantly tries to get up on the couch. Make sure they do have that cozy bed and that it is positive to stay down on the floor when you need them to.
And loads of dogs do actually like that kind of bed setting anyway. I know that Ruby has a little teepee here because we're ridiculous, and she loves going into it because she can kind of hide from the world, but she can peek out or she can go in and out as she wants, you know.
Yeah, it's functional to her. It works for her, and yeah, particularly Frenchies, they're gonna love that kind of cocoon kind of environment. So you kind of set it up that that's her place and it's functional to her, and that's where she wants to be.
Exactly. And now talking about a more, maybe, I suppose, not controversial, but a definitely heated topic. We all know that many puppies get into a habit, particularly around teething, when they're biting and nipping, and I suppose they're exploring the world with their mouths, but our fingers can kind of get involved as well. So what are some effective ways to prevent and train them out of this kind of behaviour?
So the best thing to do, because puppies are going to nip and mouth, the biggest thing that we have to take away from that is that it is normal. It is natural, even though they are sharp teeth and we can't feel like we're living with a land shark, because we affectionately call our puppies. It hurt. It really does hurt, but it's completely normal, it's completely natural. The most effective thing we can do is make sure that our puppies have those appropriate chewing outlets. And these aren't just the nylobones and stuff, which are amazing, but things that they can fish and chew and consume. Atlas and Tail and Ruby Reese and all these places have amazing amazing treats and chews that our dogs can have. And these are the ones to definitely make sure that we stock up on before we take puppy home. Kongs and rubber toys that we can actually change the flavour of by stuffing it with different things. And puppy safe things, of course, like the squeezy, pates and pates, and the Greek yogurt, or even baby food like 100% mashed carrots or 100% mashed sweet potato. Things that we can squeeze into a Kong, breathe, so that it is actually kind of soothing and kind of feels good on their little gums, on their new puppy teeth, and allowing them just loads of time to do that. And if we see them having moments where they're speaking out something to chew, trouser leg, or like that during play, they're mouthing on hands and stuff like that, make sure that we are actually giving them an appropriate chew in that moment, so that they are learning that yes, it's normal, but these are the things that you chew on. Hands and teeth are hands on skin. Teeth on skin is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
When we feel that happening, that's our time to bring out something that is appropriate for them to chew on. So have these things on hand. Have the soda pop and the Kong and things that we can kind of bounce in front of them, and make sure that these are the things that they are chewing on and that we can swap out for our hands and our sleeves.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. So the whole idea that I'm getting from you is that we should have loads of fun, positive experiences with our puppies, and that we should be probably setting ourselves up for success and setting our puppies up for success. And I'm hearing a lot, definitely loads of fun and tricks and kind of learning a little bit about each other along the way, isn't it?
Absolutely. Spend time with your puppy. Get to know them. There's no rush in getting them out, or even having people over to introduce to our puppy. Don't get caught up on the socialization thing. Remember, that is a period of time when our puppy's early development. It is not meeting everyone and everything. So even don't go easy on yourselves. The puppy blues are a thing as well, so make sure that you do actually get time for your own self-care. When your puppy's having a chew, this is where you just do whatever you need to do. Cook a really nice dinner, or scroll Instagram, or do chores around the house that you've been trying to do that you couldn't do because puppy's been following you. Make sure that you are kind of topping up on your own emotional self-care, and that it is normal to feel a little bit stressed out. There's puppies, as I always say, have a great PR department. We think that they're supposed to be all fun all the time. But in reality, they can be tough, and they are needing a lot of care and a lot of time and understanding. So it's absolutely okay to have downtime away from our puppies and not be under pressure to have to go outside the house with them and have them meeting every guest and every new dog and the neighbour's dog, and to have people over and introducing our puppy to everything. So yeah, so make sure that that you just spend time with your puppy and just get to know them in a way that's really positive and safe and comfortable for both of you.
And I suppose to sum things up as well, like you've mentioned, you've done such a great job of touching on all the struggles that people can have and the frustrations you can have in raising a puppy. And I suppose it's a good time to remind people as well that they should be building up this kind of network of professionals like yourself, like your colleagues at Snout and About. And I know you all really, really believe in the ethos of, you know, knowing a good local vet, knowing a good local groomer, physiotherapist, you know, the whole package, so that you have the right professionals then to pull in to your puppy's life as well when you need them and in those moments of desperation, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. And every puppy, every dog should go into a home having that reputable network of care that you should know. You should have a great relationship with your dog sitter, your boarder, and you should have that vet that you trust and that lovely relationship with them. There's so many amazing vets in Ireland, and that you should have that trainer, that certified behaviour consultant. You know, you have this team. Every dog should have it, and it is out there. Ireland has it. Like, we're amazing. We really are. We don't give ourselves enough credit.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Such a great dog community here. So thank you so much, Suzy, for coming on and joining us. I definitely feel like we can do loads and loads of things with our puppies at home now. I might be able to talk you into doing another session with me shortly, maybe in a few weeks' time to talk about outside the house. But for now, thanks so much for introducing us to all the things that we can do in and around the home with our puppies. Thanks a million.
Thanks so much for having me, Killian.
Thank you. Bye. And once again, a huge thank you to Suzy for coming on and joining us on the podcast this week. If you'd like to find out more about what Suzy does or what Ruby Reese does, you can find our social media handles and our websites in the show notes. We will have yet another brilliant dog topic coming out next Tuesday, as with every single Tuesday. So please do follow or subscribe this podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. Additionally, we will have Suzy back for yet another interesting topic in just a few weeks' time. So that will alone be worthwhile subscribing for. That's all for us this week. We hope you have a lovely week and we look forward to seeing you again next Tuesday.